The Aqua 360 for toilet easily installs on standard toilets, like this one with a flexible water supply line in less than 10 minutes without tools or a plumber. If your toilet has a hard water supply line like this toilet, please watch the video on the RinseWorks website, How to Replace Your Hard Water Supply Line. To install the Aqua's 360 T-valve, first shut off the toilet's water by turning the valve handle clockwise. Then flush the toilet, holding the flush lever until all the water has drained, except for a small amount of water left in the bottom of the tank. Next, place a towel or shallow pan below the waterline connection area. Before installation, make sure this nut above the waterline nut is screwed on tight against the bottom of your toilet tank, which prevents water leaking from the tank and the flusher valve inside the tank from turning when screwing on the T-valve nut. If there is leaking from this nut, please see the troubleshooting video on RinseWorks website. Now, unscrew the hand-tight water supply line nut by turning it clockwise, which should unscrew by hand. If the nut will not turn, you may need to use pliers to loosen the nut. After the waterline nut is unscrewed, make sure the rubber washer is still in the nut and not damaged, cracked, or brittle. If the washer is not in the nut, it is stuck inside the threads and must be removed. Now, screw the Aqua's T-valve nut on the toilet threads. First, make sure the washer is in the nut and push to the bottom. Hold the T-valve with both hands so you can hold the nut level. Then, turn the nut counterclockwise, being very careful not to cross-thread the nut. The nut should screw on easily by hand if the threads are lined up correctly. Before fully tightening the nut, position the valve so you can easily reach the on-off safety valve lever while sitting on the toilet. Then finish tightening the nut firmly hand-tight. Do not use pliers to tighten this nut, which could damage the toilet's plastic threads and rubber washer in the nut. Pipe tape or putty are also not needed because the watertight seal is created by the rubber washer in the nut. Next, screw your water supply line nut on the T-valve's male threads. Make sure the washer is pushed to the bottom. Screw the waterline nut on by turning it counterclockwise. Be very careful not to cross-thread the nut. Do not use pipe tape or pipe putty because the watertight seal is created by the rubber washer being screwed on firmly hand-tight. If you have any leaking from your water supply line nut, please watch the troubleshooting video on the RinseWorks website. Now, screw the hose nut on the half-inch T-valve threads. First, remove the plastic hose nut protective covers from both hose nuts, and make sure the rubber washer is in the nut and pushed to the bottom. Then, screw the hose nut on by turning it counterclockwise, firmly hand-tight. The hose nut can also be screwed on the T-valve before screwing the T-valve on the toilet waterline threads. Again, be very careful not to cross-thread the nut. Now, screw the other end of the hose on the sprayer threads. First, make sure the rubber washer is in the nut and push to the bottom. Then, screw the nut on counterclockwise, firmly hand-tight. There is a groove on the bottom of the hose nuts where an adjustable wrench can be placed to turn the nuts tighter if needed. Next, hang the pre-assembled toilet tank clip and spray wand holder over the edge of the tank under the lid. The sprayer holder can also be mounted on the other side of the tank for left-handed users or mounted on the wall by removing the stainless steel clip. The spray wand head fits in the holder like this. Be careful when placing the sprayer in the holder not to move the levers, which will turn on the water flow. To prevent this from happening, always turn off the safety shutoff valve after use of the sprayer, which only takes 1 second. Next, check for leaks. First, make sure the spray wand and T-valve is off. Then, slowly turn on the water valve for the toilet by turning it counterclockwise and check for leaks. If no leaks from the T-valve, hose, or spray wand, Check the spray wand by slowly turning it on, which should allow you to spray a gentle stream to a full-pressure jet spray for maximum cleaning pressure. Last, after each use of the Aqua spray wand, always turn off the safety shutoff valve, which only takes 1 second, just in case there was a leak.